In the small, sun-baked town of Okuta, nestled on the edge of the Niger River, life moved at a pace as steady as the flowing water. It was a place where everyone knew everyone, and secrets had little room to hide. But for one girl, 14-year-old Adunni, there was a secret so deeply buried, it followed her like a shadow. Adunni was easy to spot in the crowd. Not because she was taller, faster, or louder than the other students at Okuta Community Secondary School, but because of the black eye patch she wore every single day. It wasn't decorative or playful. It was plain, ordinary, and drew just enough attention to spark whispers in the dusty schoolyard. The other students speculated endlessly. Some said she was blind in one eye, while others claimed it was a punishment from a wicked stepmother. The boldest of them even whispered that Adunni had seen something so terrible, so cursed, that it had stolen the sight from her left eye. None of them dared to ask her directly. Adunni, however, never let the comments or the stares break her calm. She carried herself with quiet dignity, her voice soft but firm when she spoke, and her head held high no matter how heavy the burden. Her best friend, Ao, tried many times to coax the truth out of her. Adunni, Ao would say gently during lunch breaks beneath the mango tree, "You know you can tell me, right? We've been friends since we were little. Why the patch?" But Adunni would only smile sadly and say, "It's not time yet, Ao." The mystery around her deepened when a new teacher, Mr. Olu, arrived from Lagos. One look at Adunni and the eye patch sent a flicker of recognition across his face. It was so quick no one noticed, but Adunni did. For the first time in years, she felt a crack form in the wall she'd built around herself. That night, the wind howled through the village like a restless spirit. In her room, lit by the flickering glow of a kerosene lamp, Adunni stood before a worn-out mirror. Slowly, with trembling fingers, she lifted the patch. What lay beneath wasn't horror. It was a striking pale blue eye that shimmered like glass, a sharp contrast to her brown right eye. It held a strange, otherworldly beauty. Adunni stared at her reflection, a mixture of fear and pride battling within her. She whispered to herself, "Soon they'll understand." As she replaced the patch, a sense of both dread and hope filled the room. Something was coming. The secret that had followed her like a shadow was inching closer to the light, and soon, in this small town where nothing stayed hidden for long, everything would change. The next morning, the sky hung heavy with gray clouds, as though the earth itself was holding its breath. School began as usual, but for Adunni, the weight of the secret she carried felt heavier than ever. The hallway murmurs seemed louder. Every glance lingered longer. Yet she moved through it all like a ghost in plain sight. Mr. Olu watched her carefully during lessons. He was different from the other teachers. Sharp, kind, but with eyes that seemed to know things before they were said. That afternoon, after dismissing the class, he called Adunni to stay behind. The room was quiet, save for the soft chirping of birds outside the window. Mr. Olu leaned against the desk, his face unreadable. "I know about your eye, Adunni," he said softly. Her heart thumped in her chest. For years no one had come this close. No one dared. She clutched the patch as though it could shield her from the truth itself. "I knew your father," Mr. Olu continued, his voice gentle. "Many years ago before the accident." Adunni's hands trembled. Memories she had locked away came rushing back. The river, the fire, the screaming voices. Her father, a respected herbalist, was accused of using forbidden charms after a patient died under mysterious circumstances. One night, a mob came, torches in hand, anger blinding their judgment. They burned their home, leaving nothing but ashes and broken spirits. In the chaos, a charm her father had crafted for protection was accidentally activated. It left Adunni's left eye forever changed, infused with the power to sense danger and glimpse things others couldn't. Her mother, fearing the villagers' superstitions, had forced her to cover it. "They won't understand," she had warned. "They'll call you a witch." Tears pricked Adunni's eyes. She finally spoke. "I was just a child. I didn't know. I didn't ask for this." Mr. Olu nodded. "You didn't. But gifts, even unwanted ones, have their purpose. A sudden crash outside the window startled them. A group of students had gathered around Ao, who lay on the ground, clutching her ankle in pain. Adunni rushed out, kneeling beside her friend. "I didn't see it," Ao gasped, pointing to a sharp, rusted piece of metal half buried in the dirt. Blood stained her sock. Panic gripped Adunni. She knew what she had to do. Without hesitation, she removed the eye patch. Her pale blue eye gleamed under the dull light, reflecting a vision no one else could see. A spreading infection, a looming sickness if left untreated. Adunni's voice was steady. "She needs the nurse now. And she'll need medicine, strong ones, before nightfall." The other students gasped, their eyes fixed on her unusual gaze. But it was Mr. Olu who spoke, his tone firm and calm. "You heard her. Move." As they carried Ao away, Adunni realized it was too late to hide now. The secret was no longer hers alone. By evening, the story had spread through the entire town like wildfire. Children whispered, adults frowned, and the village elders exchanged wary glances. "The girl with the cursed eye," they muttered. Some spoke of bad omens, others of forgotten witchcraft. But none of them dared approach her. Ao's mother, desperate and afraid, sat by her daughter's side in the small clinic. The nurse confirmed what Adunni had seen. The wound was deep and already showing signs of infection. If it had been left untreated much longer, Ao might have lost her leg, or worse. Mr. Olu, standing by the doorway, addressed the gathered crowd. "Before you judge her, listen," he began, his voice steady against the rising tide of suspicion. "Adunni's father was a healer, not a witch. He understood herbs, medicine, and the ways of nature better than any man I've known. What happened years ago was a tragedy built on fear, not truth." The townsfolk remained silent, some avoiding Adunni's gaze, while others watched in awe. She stood there, no longer hiding, the eye patch dangling from her fingers, her blue eye gleaming like the reflection of the river at dawn. "I didn't ask for this," Adunni spoke, her voice clear and calm. "But I won't be ashamed of it anymore. If my gift can save a life or stop harm before it happens, then I'll use it. Not for myself, but for this village, whether you believe in it or not." A long silence followed. Then, slowly, Ao's mother knelt before her, eyes filled with gratitude. "You saved my child. Thank you, Adunni." One by one, the other villagers softened. An old man stepped forward, then a young boy, and then the market woman who once scolded Adunni for staring too long. The fear began to dissolve, replaced by quiet acceptance. In the days that followed, things changed. Adunni no longer wore the patch to school. The students, once cruel with their whispers, now greeted her with cautious respect. Some even sought her out when they felt uneasy or troubled, hoping she might see what they could not. Mr. Olu remained a quiet guardian, watching with pride as Adunni grew into her strength. Life in Okuta was still simple, still quiet, but no longer as narrow as it once was. The village had learned a lesson they would pass down for generations, that what makes us different is often what makes us powerful, and that fear should never silence kindness or understanding. Adunni's eye, once hidden in shame, had become a symbol, not of curses but of courage. And for the first time in a long while, as she and Ao sat beneath the old mango tree, Adunni smiled freely. "I told you," she teased gently. "One day they'd understand." Ao laughed, squeezing her friend's hand. "And I'm glad they did."